So Kat is asking if I ever grid my Aida cloth. Hi, I'm Elle. I'm a cross-stitch artist and designer here on TikTok, and let's talk about gridding. There are actually a ton of different ways for you to add a grid onto your Aida cloth to make it easier to stitch. So based on Kat's question, let's talk about how you can physically draw a grid onto your cloth. Like Kat said here, if you are going to be drawing your grid on the front of your fabric, you're going to either want to use a heat erasable friction pen, or you're going to want to use a water soluble pen. Now, those seem like really obvious reasons why you're going to want to do those, because you are not going to want that grid to stay on there permanently. When you're done stitching, you're going to want to either use an iron or blow it with a blow dryer to get rid of the heat friction pen, or you're going to want to gently wash your piece with water and possibly a little bit of like Dawn dish soap if you used a water erasable pen. I actually don't have a friction pen or a water erasable pen, so I draw my grid on the back of my piece, and that way I can just use any old pencil. I typically use mechanical pencil because I get a little bit cleaner lines on the back, but because I'm drawing on the back of my piece and I'm drawing gently with a pencil, I don't have to worry about erasing it when I'm completely done sewing my piece. This is what the back of one of my pieces looks like with the grid on the back as I'm stitching it. So I start by finding the center of my piece, which is here, and this is also the center of my cloth. And then looking at the pattern and where the center of my piece is on here, I'm gonna draw my grid every 10 squares, moving out from that center space. Because I am doing this on the back of my pattern, I do have to make sure that I flip this x-axis when I draw my grid. So from my center point, my next grid line to the left here is 3 stitches over, but on here, from my center space, which is right here, I need to draw that 3 stitches to the right instead, because we want it to match when I flip my piece over to the front. Personally, I like gridding on the back because it means I can use whatever pencil that I have handy, and I don't have to worry about finding my friction pen or my water soluble pen or anything like that. And the other benefit for me personally is it's one less step that I have to do when I'm done stitching my piece. I don't have to worry about going over it with an iron or a blow dryer or washing the piece and then having to dry the piece before I can just hang it and put it on the wall. For me personally, any extra steps that I can take out of the process to make it easier for myself is always a big win. I hope that helps. If you have any other questions about how I personally grid or about other forms of gridding, go ahead and leave them in the comments and I'd be happy to answer them. As always, happy stitching.